average for a gallon of gas. This is SRN News.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Hey, it's Scott Jennings. You know, child abuse isn't always visible, and it doesn't always happen somewhere else. It happens in communities just like yours. For nearly 70 years, Child Help has been dedicated to the prevention and treatment of child abuse in the United States, providing crisis intervention, education, and services for children facing abuse. By donating just $27, you can save a child from abuse. Support Child Help's life-saving programs today by visiting childhelp.org/Scott. That's childhelp.org/Scott, and help save the life of a child today.
At F&B Bank, we believe local businesses are the heart of our community. That's why we're more than just your bank. We're your neighbor, your customer, and your biggest supporter. From the corner cafe to the hardware store downtown, we're walking the same streets, shopping the same shops, and investing in the same future, yours. We're here, we're local, and we're always in your corner. F&B Bank, banking built on community, member FDIC.
The days are getting longer, the roads are calling, and it's a great time to upgrade your ride at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a 2026 GMC Terrain, the perfect SUV for wherever the road takes you. Need a truck? Take advantage of up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 with eligible trade-in. And for serious capability, get $500 bonus cash on a new 2026 GMC 3500. See the full lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or online at hurlchev.com.
Today, highs warmed to around 80 with some clouds, and winds will be from a west-southwest around 10 miles per hour. Tonight, lows will be unseasonably mild around 50. Tomorrow, a ridge axis will move over the area with highs back into the 90s, again breaking records dating back to 1907. Skies will be sunny with west-northwesterly winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Fire watch for Dundee, Hitchcock, and Red Willow counties. Lows again will be around 50. Thursday, highs will top out in the 70. Winds will turn to the north at 30 to 40 miles per hour, and lows will drop below freezing. And if there is any light rain or snow, it would be minor, with less than 10 points of moisture to work with. Friday will be cooler, more seasonal, highs in the upper 50s and lows in the upper 20s. Saturday, gusty west winds, highs around 70. And this meteorologist Chris Schromick of the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
The best rock ever played.
The greatest of all.
It's right here.
Rocket 102.5 KLOE.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When Tootie calls, they answer.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first?
At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
The days are getting longer, the roads are calling, and it's a great time to upgrade your ride at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a 2026 GMC Terrain, the perfect SUV for wherever the road takes you. Need a truck? Take advantage of up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 with eligible trade-in. And for serious capability, get $500 bonus cash on a new 2026 GMC 3500. See the full lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or online at hurlchev.com.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
I'm old, I'm white, and I don't understand any of it.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sky is everywhere.
Covering it all from the preps to the pros.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City!
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, and the Insurance Agency.
Let's go to work.
The senior goes to goal and scores! Madison Taylor wins it for Northwestern!
Harris, ISO'd for the tie, got it! With 9.5 to go, we're knotted at 121.
0-2 from Webb. Bouncer headed up the middle, and that's going to get through and drive in a couple of runs. 3-0 New York. And it's still only one away. First pitch to Trent Grisham, cranked up and sent into the right center field gap. McMahon's going to score easily. They're going to wave Wells around. Waves to third. Throw it, hits another runner. Wow! 5-0 New York.
Happy Thursday morning, everybody. We are back here on the Morning Blitz on Rocket 102.5, KLOE, NWKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Salute to you watching there. And thank you so much for making us part of your Thursday morning. It's March the 26th. A hot, I don't want to call it hot, but it was a warm night last night. You know, it's in that interesting time of year, and I don't know why it's so early. You know, I'm kind of getting into the mode where, you know, it's been so nice pretty consistently now for a couple weeks. It's kind of like, you know, I think I need to get outside and get the yard kind of started looking better, you know, cutting and trimming all the dead stuff out and throwing it out and kind of getting the yard mowed down once, getting some fertilizer out there. I'm very particular about my yard. And so anyway, yesterday I started to get that itch to go out and do that. And so anyway, got out and did some of that yesterday. And now I've just, and it was not great before, but I'll tell you what, I've just got some allergy stuff I don't know if it's the allergies, if it's just the dryness, if it's the dirt in the air or whatever it may be, probably a combination of all. But sorry if I sound a little bit plugged up or congested today, but yeah, it was, like I said, it's the weather is getting to the point to where it feels like it's time to go out and do that, even though it's still in March. And usually I kind of wait till like maybe early mid-April to do that, but the weather is telling me that we need to get started on that stuff. Whether that's good or not, I don't know. But a very warm day yesterday, and also an odd part about it too is, you know, the house temperature. Like last night, you go to bed and the house temperature is like at 75. But I'm one of those. I was like, I'm not turning the air conditioner on yet because we're going to have a 55-degree day coming up. I think it's on Friday. We're having tomorrow a 55-degree day. It's going to drop down about 30 degrees from what it was yesterday. 30 to 40 degrees almost from what it was yesterday. So it's kind of in that weird flux where, the house is either too warm and you don't want to turn the air conditioner on yet. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird, it seems like it's just a really weird time right now with the weather and all that stuff happening. But here we are. We're ready to roll. And hey, it's opening day of the MLB baseball season as well as the high school baseball season as well. And so we got lots to get to on today's program. We will be visiting and talking a little college softball with Jasmine Esparza. She will join us. The Colby Community College women's softball coach will join us later on in the program. We'll talk with her about the great season that the Lady Trojans are having. Yesterday, they split at Barton, but with that split are now 18-14 overall, 11-3 in conference play, and we will still sitting at the top or near the top of the Jayhawk Conference, and so we will visit with her about that coming up on today's show. We will also get into some just a quick little we'll touch on what Colin Klein said ahead of spring football getting going as he met with the media yesterday. I mentioned it's opening day for MLB and high school and local high school baseball teams. We'll get to those games ahead. And, of course, also today, the Sweet 16 gets going, the resumption of the NCAA basketball tournament with 4 games today, another 4 games tomorrow as we begin the Sweet 16. I know in the sports report, I think they said the Elite 8, and I realized it too late. And I was like, oh, can't go back and change it now, but it's all right. It happens from time to time. But anyway, if you want to be part of the Morning Blitz, the FNB Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. We already have a couple of text messages coming in. Michael says, happy opening day. Go Bo Sox. And Brian wants to know what radio station the Colorado Rockies will be on this year with KLOE. Unfortunately, going away, Brian, we will not have Colorado Rockies baseball on the radio. My apologies, but we don't have that extra station that we can put them on. And so they will not be on the air with us this year, unfortunately, will the Colorado Rockies. We will have the Royals on AM 790 KXXX as we have in the previous few years. And, I think there's only 10 games this year that you can watch the Royals out of 162 for free. And so you're going to have to pay for that, but you can listen to the Royals free on AM 790 KXXX if you want to be a part of that. Looking at the MLB opening day slate yesterday, of course, the Yankees and the Giants had the first game of the 2026 season. It was a blowout by New York. They win in San Francisco 7-0. Max Fried was great. The Giants couldn't do anything, and the Yankees just dumped on them early. They were up 5-0, I think, when I tuned in, I think in the 3rd or the 4th inning, when I finally got a chance to kind of watch a little bit of it. And they got to Logan Webb, and Yankees off to a great start and a tough start for San Francisco. And I kind of forgot, but it's a fascinating year for the San Francisco Giants because they have a new manager, and it was the one of the best coaches in all of college baseball the previous few years, Tony Vitello. And Vitello has never coached professional baseball at any level. He had never really done anything to do with professional baseball ever in his career. And he's gone from being a manager of a collegiate baseball team at Tennessee now to the Giants. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how that pans out over the course of the year. Once again, I apologize for the mutes and the dead air from time to time, just coughing my head off because of, once again, these just the allergies and the stuff in the air that's got me kind of stuffed up a little bit here today. But looking at the slate for there is the Royals and the Rockies do not begin their seasons until Friday. Colorado will be at Miami on Friday, and the Royals on the road at Atlanta on Friday is when their seasons will begin. But opening day for majority of other teams today in Major League Baseball. Let's see. What else can we get to here? Let's get into our first segment here. FB Bank text line open 785-899-2222. Thoughts, comments, questions, all welcome if you'd like to be part of the show in any way. I wanted to get into the Sweet 16 since it begins today. I wanted to have a little bit of fun. I wanted to do some picks of these games as well as as well as look at ranking them. So I went games. I took the Sweet 16. So there's 8 games to be played over the next 2 days in the men's NCAA tournament Sweet 16. And I went through there and I ranked them based upon just intrigue and interest to me. What the most intriguing games of the Sweet 16, I ranked them, and I also made a few picks as well. So let's have some fun on here. Let's get our picks music going, if I can get to it here. Here we go. We get to our picks music and have a little bit of fun with our – it's kind of picks of the weekend. It's going to be part of the picks of the weekend is how I should put it. We'll have a few more picks on Friday. Not a ton, but a few more. So majority of the picks will be this. So ranking and picking the Sweet 16. My number 8 game out of the 8 games of the Sweet 16 is actually the very first game that gets tipped off here today. 6:10 Central, 5:10 Mountain Time. You can watch it on CBS. It is the 2-seed Purdue against the 11-seed Texas. Look, Texas has had a great run. They're another one of these teams that played in that play-in game, got some early momentum, and have gotten their way into the second weekend of the tournament. Purdue, though, playing with a lot of confidence. Braden Smith, one of the best point guards in all of college basketball, one of the all-time assist leaders in college basketball, and they've gotten some really good production out of guys like Oscar Clough, their big center, who's been playing a really good down the home stretch of the season, and Fletcher Lawyer and Carr, I think is the other guy's name that really shoot the 3-ball. Purdue is favored by 7.5 going into this first game, and I'm going to take Purdue to cover that. I think Purdue beats Texas convincingly. I think they do. I think Purdue's got a great chance of advancing next round. Texas does have a high-priced roster, and it certainly took a long time for them to get it put together and get it working and winning at a consistent level. But, hey, better late than never. But I still think Purdue's got too much rolling for them right now, and I think they're able to get past Texas, and I think they do it covering that 7.5 points, Texas for Purdue. But it's my least intriguing game because I think Purdue's just a much better team, and I think they're able to take care of Texas here tonight. My number 7 game is on Friday, actually, and it would be the 6:35 Central, 5:35 Mountain Time tip on TBS. That would be the number 1 seed Michigan in their bracket taking on the 4 seed Alabama. Michigan, by the way, favored by almost 10 points, 9.5 to be exact in this game. I've got Michigan covering. Like, Alabama has had once again shown flashes of being a really good team, and then there's a couple games, and then there's some games where they show where they're just not very good. Michigan, I think, consistently has shown that they are one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the nation consistently. They're really good. They have everything you would like except for maybe more consistent three-point shooting. That has kind of been a bit of a bugaboo for them, but I like Michigan to get it done against Alabama. Michigan just has so many great pieces, and I think they're able to get Alabama and beat them convincing. I think it's going to be a convincing win for Michigan of close to pretty much 10 points. So give me Michigan to cover the 9.5 against the Crimson Tide. Once again, that game is on tomorrow. The next game, also a game from tomorrow. It is the late game, 8:10 Mountain, 9:10 Central Time on TBS. The 2 seed Iowa State is going to take on the 6 seed Tennessee. Iowa State is a really good team, and I don't know if Joshua Jefferson is going to be able to go. I don't think he is, which is a huge loss. Still, though, even with that, Iowa State's a great team. Milan Momcilovic is a phenomenal player. Taysom Lipsey has been a great point guard for them. Tennessee, they're a team that's kind of, once again, a little bit like Texas. A little inconsistent throughout the year, but it's kind of put it on here as of late. It's almost a pick-em game. No, let's change. The line is at 3.5 in favor of Iowa State. But the over-under is pretty low, 138.5. I'm actually going to take the over of 138.5. I think this will be more points scored than what Vegas thinks at this point in time. So Tennessee versus Iowa State, give me the over of 138.5. Doing a little picks and ranking the Sweet 16 so far. Texas, Purdue is my 8th intriguing game. The 7th most intriguing game, Michigan, Alabama. And then the 6th most intriguing game, Tennessee versus Iowa State. Continuing into the top 5, a game that will be played tonight. It's the 3rd game on the docket, 8:45 Central, 7:45 Mountain Time on CBS. Number 1 seed Arizona taking on 4 seed Arkansas. Arizona favored by 7.5. I think I got the Cats covering. Look, Arkansas has got some nice pieces, led by, of course, by the Akoff kid, who's just a great player. But Arizona, I think, is the most complete basketball team in this tournament. They have everything that you want. They've got size, they have physicality, big bodies, quick, fast bodies, shooters, everything you want, Arizona has. I think it is the most complete team in college basketball. I've been saying it for the last couple of months. It has not changed. They are still really, really good, whether it be inside or outside. They are a really good basketball team. Arkansas has some really good pieces. I just don't think they have enough to hang with Arizona. I think Arizona gets it done in my fifth most intriguing game of the Sweet 16. Arizona winning and covering the 7.5, maybe win by like 8 or 9 points. But I think there's just not enough for Arkansas. Acuff is great, but it's just not enough. You need more if you're going to take down Arizona. My fourth most intriguing game, it may be more intriguing to other people, but this game here, I just think there's other games that could be more interesting a little bit. But my fourth most intriguing game is the Nebraska-Iowa game tonight. That is a 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 Central Time tip-off. You can watch it on TBS if you'd like. Nebraska, pretty much a pick'em game, favored by 1.5 versus Iowa. The thing about this game is they've already played twice this year, each team winning on their home court respectively. Now you're at a neutral site game. Iowa is probably playing their best basketball of the season right now. Particularly on the offensive end, Iowa's playing their best basketball. The Cooper Koch has been a great shooter for them. Fulgaris has been good. Is starting to get it going from the outside. Bennett Sturtz, I still think, is one of the best players in all of college basketball. I saw of the Sweet 16, they ranked like the top 30 players. He's like number 4 in the best players in the Sweet 16. He's phenomenal. My biggest thing for him is he has played a ton of minutes this year. A ton. And it almost looked like in the Florida game, like he was just completely out of gas, didn't have the legs to make some long shots and jumpers. I would not bank on that happening again if I'm Nebraska. I would still treat him as if he's going to be one of the best player on the floor. The only reason why I'm going to take Nebraska is I think Nebraska is starting to get back, especially on the offensive side, a little bit more swagger. Brink Mast is making some threes from the outside, pulling the bigs away from the basket. You've got Braden Frager playing with a lot of swagger right now. And then, of course, if Bryce Sanford gets going, which will be hard against Iowa, they know what to do against him. I think it could be a tough one for Iowa. I just think Nebraska is just a little bit, and it's just a little bit more of a complete basketball team at this point in time, a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned. And I think that is just enough to edge a really hot Iowa team right now. I've got Nebraska covering the 1.5, which they win by 2. I think it's pretty much a pick 'em. Give me Nebraska to cover the 1.5, and I'm actually also going to take the over. It's the lowest total of the Sweet 16, 131.5. I think there's more points scored. It may be a little rocky to start, but I think offense gets flowing in that game. So over 131.5, Nebraska over Iowa. My third most intriguing game of the Sweet 16. Number 1 seed Duke taking on St. John's on Friday. It's the first game of the day tomorrow. That is a 6 Central, 5:10 Mountain Time tip on CBS. I'm going to take the Johnnies to cover the 6.5. Look, Duke, I feel like is obviously a very talented basketball team, but they're not at full strength, and it just seems like they struggle with Siena. They've had some issues in this tournament. St. John's is a physical beast. They're going to go out there and just rough you up with their defense. I think St. John's is able to cover that 6.5. I don't know if they're going to upset Duke and knock them out of the tournament. But boy, St. John's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and it wouldn't shock me if they did take Duke out of the tournament. But I got St. John's covering the 6.5 at this point in time. So give me St. John's in a cover of 6.5 over Duke in my third most intriguing game of the Sweet 16. Second most intriguing game of the Sweet 16, also a game tomorrow, UConn, Michigan State, 7:45 Mountain, 8:45 Central Time on CBS. This is like the Nebraska game, a pick'em low-scoring game. The second lowest point total of the Sweet 16 with 134.5. Connecticut currently favored by 1.5. I'm going to take UConn to cover the 1.5. And the only reason for that is experience deep in tournaments favors UConn. They got plenty of guys that have been in this spot before. They've got a coach that's been in this spot before. Not that Izzo is not. He totally has been. Maybe just more recently. And Michigan State, I like some of their players. Cohen Carr is a phenomenal dunker. Jeremy Fears is maybe he could be arguably the best point guard in this tournament. He's also a very dirty player, in my opinion. Nonetheless, it's a very good Michigan State team. I feel like I'm going to take UConn, though. My gut's telling me take UConn to cover the 1.5 for some reason for Michigan State. That's my number 2 game in the Sweet 16. And the most intriguing game of the Sweet 16 is tonight. And I think it's hands down, far and away, the most intriguing game of the Sweet 16. 3-seed Illinois against the 2-seed Houston. 8:05 Mountain Time tip, 9:05 Central. Late basketball, but I think you'll want to stay up and watch it. Talk about two different styles. The free-flowing, high-flying, long-distance shooting Illini of Illinois, who still play pretty good defense with Brad Underwood, to be honest with you, take on a Houston team that is built on defense and physicality and toughness. And not to mention Houston's playing 8 blocks away from their home campus. You'd think there'd be a decent Houston crowd on hand. Illinois is a really good team. I love all their pieces. They have big guys that can play inside, big guys that can step out and shoot. They've got other guys that can shoot from the outside. They've got a couple of drivers led by Keaton Wagler, who's just a phenomenal all-around player. Houston's got Emmanuel Sharp and Kingston Fleming and Sanak, who I got to watch there down in Oklahoma City. They're great players. This is a great, great game. Excuse me. I think it's going to be an amazing, amazing game. So, to me, far and away, it is the most intriguing game. And if I'm going to pick it based upon what I've got in my bracket, I'm going to go with Illinois in the upset. Now, Houston's favored by 2.5. Give me Illinois to cover. I think get the upset win. They're advancing into the elite. I think they're one of the more complete basketball teams, once again, is Illinois when they play to their strengths. Houston's going to make it really tough, and God, that's going to be a good game. Houston, Illinois tonight, my number 1 game in the Sweet 16. And I got Illinois once again in the minor upset of that game. So once again, ranking the Sweet 16 with picks, I've got number 8 Texas versus Purdue is my 8th most intriguing game. Purdue favored by, I've got Purdue winning, it should be by 7.5. Michigan covering the 9.5 versus Alabama for number 7. Number 6 Tennessee versus Iowa State. I'm taking the over of 138.5. I think there's more offense in that game. Arizona favored by 7.5. I'll take that versus Arkansas, my 5th most intriguing game. 4th most intriguing game of the Sweet 16. Nebraska edging Iowa by 1.5. I also will take the over of 131.5. I think there's more points scored. Duke versus St. John's, my 3rd most intriguing game. I got the Johnnies with a cover of the 6.5, maybe even pulling an upset. UConn and pretty much a pick 'em against Michigan State is my number 2 game. I got the Huskies with their most recent deep tournament experience playing a factor and getting it done, beating Michigan State by 1.5 or with the 1.5 cover. And then number 1 game by far, Houston, Illinois, with the Illini pulling the upset, quote unquote, over the Cougars there, plus 2.5. There you go. That's the Sweet 16 and ranking the games, also making some picks. We'll see how we come at least with 4 of those games tomorrow morning. All right, it's right at the bottom of the hour, 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Central Time on a Thursday. Once again, going to be a warm day, but also windy. Temperatures expected to be in the mid-70s, but it's going to be windy and gusty out of the north, which could cool the things off a little bit. I've seen anywhere from, 10 to 15 on the low end up to maybe 35 to 40 on the high end when it comes to wind today. The typical opening day weather for high school baseball, if you ask me. We'll get to it for timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk a little college softball with Colby Community College softball coach Jasmine Esparza. She'll join us next here on the Morning Blitz.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Tom Saluda with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on March 26th. In the overnight session, May corn was unchanged at 466.5. July unchanged at $4.7725, and Sep corn unchanged at $4.80. May soybeans up 3.5 at $11.75. July up 3.5 at $11.91, and August up 3 at $11.83. May KC wheat unchanged at $6.18. July KC unchanged at $6.32, and Sep KC unchanged at $6.47. The Dow Jones is currently down 340 points at 46,375. S&P is down 51 points at 6,589. NASDAQ is down 240 points at 24,128. Gold is down 128 points at 4,424 an ounce. Silver slightly down at 67.5 an ounce. And crude oil is up 4% at 94 a barrel. If you're out in the Colorado area and have any grain to market or risk management questions, please call John Hanke or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
At kscorn.com.
Your Cheyenne County Hospital in St. Francis is improving health with access to quality care. Whether you're looking for primary care, wound care, physical therapy, cardiologist, or anything in between, Cheyenne County Hospital can help. For info, visit their Facebook page or call 785-332-2104 or visit them at CheyenneCountyHospital.com. The Cheyenne County Hospital, located on 210 West Street in St. Francis.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time! Boom!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Continuing on a Thursday show, March the 26th. Glad you're still with us here on the Morning Blitz. We will get to some thoughts on opening day of the high school baseball season, particularly Colby and Goodland squaring off today in Centennial Park. We'll get to that in segment 3, and also still coming up. So what did Colin Klein have to say with the media ahead of Kansas State football's spring practices getting going? So we'll get to that coming up here in just a matter of moments. So we will get to that and all in just a little bit. We're pleased to welcome, though, on the phone, Colby Community College softball coach Jasmine Esparza joins us now on the Hoover Lumber's Hardware Hotline. Coach, good morning. Thank you so much for getting up with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Coach, I want to kind of go back. You know, this is, I believe, your second year there coaching at CCC. What has the experience been like? You know, you were playing college ball out in California. You were at Kansas West. You've kind of been all over the place. What's it been like coaching at Colby Community College these last couple of years?
It's been absolutely amazing. Definitely been a pleasure to be out here. Being from California and then going to school in Florida, coming back to California, then to Kansas, to kind of jumpstart my coaching career. That's been amazing. It's been a blessing for sure, and I've enjoyed every second of it. And you know, being out in Colby, they definitely so it's easy to just feel, just right at home.
Coach, when you what would you learn in your first year of doing it? What did you learn about and what adjustments did you make from year one now to year two?
Coaching is hard. And a lot of coaches will say this. Sometimes it's a very thankless job. And I think things that I've learned in my first year is young, definitely one of the youngest head coaches. And, I'm 28 trying to coach 18, 19-year-olds. And patience is always a big one. And I think that's something that I learned from last year to this year is being a little bit more patient with myself, with the players, the development and the progress of our team. It's not easy. It's not something that's change in a week. And sometimes it's going to take several months. Sometimes we're here to fully adapt the program to what you want and, looking for. And that's definitely I've had to learn and still trying to learn now, because there's days where I do find myself, wishing that we could have better done this more. But sometimes it takes for you to really build the culture that you're wanting and that you're looking for and, where you see it. And, once it happens, it will be a sigh of relief for sure.
Once again, joining us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline, first-time guest Jasmine Esparza, Colby Community College softball head coach of the Lady Trojans, off to an 18-14 start, but sit atop of the Jayhawk Conference. That's what's kind of been interesting about this year, Coach, when you look at the results, kind of a 500 overall record, a little bit above that, obviously, but been really great when it matters most in conference play. Why have you guys been able to get it done in conference, it seems like?
A lot of those non-conference games, we've been right there. We've done a lot of, trying to see what works and what doesn't work in non-conference play. We've made some adjustments. We've made some changes. I think we could say out of those, I think you said 14 losses, I would say half of those we were winning at a point and decided to make some changes that, maybe cost us games. And that comes down to me, but that also comes down to I want these girls to understand what it means to be in some pressure situations, what it means to be able to adapt and adjust to adversity. And, what are you going to do when your back's behind the wall and, there's nowhere else to go? Like, you are who we need to go to. How are we going to work through some of these things? And, some of those losses, it comes with that. And that's exactly what it is. And when it comes to conference play, it's, hey, this is where we got to show up. You work for this moment, you work for these situations. And even some of those losses, yesterday was a tough one for sure. And, facing Hutch and losing against Garden for our first game of conference, those are all hard games. Definitely games that could have been won, but, they're all learning moments and we're just starting and we're still trying to figure out what works. It looks like everything is working well, but there's still some times where we're trying to figure out, okay, what can we do in this situation? Where can we change? How can we be better?
When you look at your team, you've had a good number of, your typical lower scoring games you've had some. What's been more impressive to you? Has it been your offensive prowess or has it been your ladies in the circle doing the pitching?
Oh man, Russ, if I can give you a perfect answer, both of them are amazing. It's what it is. We have figured everything out on both sides of the ball. Definitely making a lot of, offensive adjustments has allowed us to thrive and allowed us to score a lot of runs. And, we are hitting the long ball this year and, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, making those adjustments. But then you look at the pitching circle and we have the perfect staff this year. We have the staff that is unified, that is, working together. They are willing to go in those stressful situations, want to work through those situations. We are led by, one of our sophomores that's, was here last year. Everybody else is brand new on that pitching staff. We have one sophomore this year. And she knows what it feels like to, to struggle, but also to see the success and to work through those successful moments. And she's definitely led our circle a little bit more this year, with just her mentality. And, everybody else has bought into it. Offensively, we are just destroying the ball. We have once again another sophomore that stepped up in that leader role. Briley and sophomore pitcher was Caitlin. Both of them have just stepped up tremendously this year, and they want more for this program and they want more for themselves.
Jasmine Esparza is our guest here on the Morning Blitz. Colby College softball coach, Lady Trojans, sitting atop of the Jayhawk Conference standings here, almost halfway through the season. Briley Christensen is one of the girls you mentioned there. She's actually leading the league at this point in time in batting average. She's third in RBIs, leads or tied for the league top in home runs. How impressive has she been with the bat in your eyes?
She's actually the top in home runs. We haven't put in one game of stats, and she has one in that one. So once that one comes in, it'll go right back up. I promise. We're a little late on putting in some stats for that one. But she has been absolutely amazing. She's definitely one of those leaders that will lead by example. But she'll also lead with her voice and lead with her actions. She does everything right. And it's finally caught up to her where things are going right for her this year. There was a lot of issues at the beginning of the year for everybody for this whole program. We dealt with adversity a lot this year. We dealt with, loss of players and, some issues early on, and it could have easily derailed this team tremendously. But we have amazing leaders this year, such as Riley, that have stepped up and want to continue to make this program better. And she got into the box and, she's seeing the ball well right now. And even in stressful situations where she might not, have the outcome that she wants, it does not derail her from the plans that she has for herself in the long run. And you can definitely see that she's going in there very fearless and just enjoying her time and really making the most of every single at-bat she gets.
You talked about the pitching side of things, and you have some really good pitchers led by Caitlin. Is it Zukwick? I want to say is how I would pronounce that. But nonetheless, she's been fantastic. But you also have a local flavor to your roster in Cheyenne Kramer, who went to Scott City. How important is it to kind of recruit some of the local ladies around the area and be a part of this program?
Yeah, Cheyenne definitely was a blessing. She fell in our lap. Seriously, just fell in our lap and has been nothing but absolutely amazing since she got here, her and her family. Recruiting the local kids, we have, she's one of them, but we also have Jalissa, who is a Colby native, and, having kids that are around, that are from, the area and kind of know what it's like to be here. It's definitely a blessing in disguise. And, people don't understand that having that family background, when you have the support from not just, the fans and anything like that, but even other players, teams that come and support you continuously, it gives you a different drive sometimes. And, they make it an environment to where we're all feeling welcome at every point. They have team dinners at these girls' houses. We get meals, catered to us, and we're getting blessed in many different ways. And it all stems from having, the support of the local staff and the local community. And it starts with our girls that are from this area that have definitely, made it to where people want to invest in this program, which is absolutely amazing. So it's been really good.
We were talking a little bit ago about, almost at the midway point of the season, you have a series against Dodge City coming up here in a little less than a week from yesterday before you go through the second time through the league. What kind of adjustments are you hoping to see your girls make second time through the league, or what are you hoping to see the second time through the league to make yourself feel really good? I mean, a great first start. I mean, almost like you said, you're sitting atop of the conference standings, but what do you want to see the second time through the league?
For us, I think it's something that we've talked about a lot this year, is continue to play like the underdog. Coming into season, we were preseason ranked 6th, and I think we've played every single game like that we've won in conference just like that. Thank you for putting us 6th, and we'll take where we're at, but we're going to continue to show you what we're made of. And that's something that we need to adjust as a team, is want to be the underdog, continue to be the underdog and feel like the underdog, because that's when we play at our best. When our backs are against the wall, these girls show up, and it's incredible. they don't just show up for themselves, but they show up for me. And we've seen it time and time again where they know, what adjustments need to be made physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, we are a very player-led team, and it's been absolutely amazing. But that's one of the big ones that I think that we need to kind of change this year or going into the second half of season is don't ever be satisfied, even though, our names are on the top. Like, don't play like we are. Play like we are number 10, 11, 12, whatever, the bottom of our conference, and let them work their butts off and be their best, our opponents, to beat us. Because when we're at our best, we're pretty unstoppable for sure.
Once again, head coach of the Colby Community College softball team, that would be Jasmine Esparza. Coach, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time away from your busy season to visit with us. Congratulations on the great start. Hopefully a strong finish to this 2026 year, and we'll talk again down the road. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and hopefully we can see more of the community out at some games coming up this year. Like you said, we got Dodge here at home next week, so hope to see you guys out here on Wednesday, 1 and 3. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Once again, great stuff there. Jasmine Esparza, yes, they will be taking and hosting Dodge City. They have the weekend off, but they'll be back here on Wednesday. That is a 1 o'clock Central Time first pitch for game 1 of a doubleheader there from Carl Adams Field in Colby. Beautiful little field right there on the campus of Colby Community College. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to wrap up the show with some thoughts on opening day of the high school baseball season between Colby and Goodland out at Centennial Park this afternoon. That's coming up next. You're listening to a Thursday edition of the Morning Blitz.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit.
The roads are calling, and it's a great time to upgrade your ride at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a 2026 GMC Terrain, the perfect SUV for wherever the road takes you. Need a truck? Take advantage of up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 with eligible trade-in. And for serious capability, get $500 bonus cash on a new 2026 GMC 3500. See the full lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or online at hurlchev.com.
Craving something delicious? McDonald's has you covered. From hot, fresh breakfast to juicy burgers and crispy fries, there's something for everyone, any time of day. And don't forget to try our classic McCafe coffee or refreshing McFlurry. Visit us in Colby, Goodland, Burlington, and Lamar for fast, friendly service and the flavors you love. Drive through, dine in, or order ahead on the McDonald's app. We'll have it fresh and ready. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
With 9 locations across Northwest Kansas, the High Plains Co-op continues to stand with you, giving you the service you need and deserve. They're here for all of your grain, feed, and fuel needs, as well as helping you manage the marketing and crop insurance sector with their HPC risk management program. Visit them online at high-plainscoop.com to get the latest markets, ag news, and information, or call them today at 785-462-3351. That's 462-3351. Continuing to stand with you is the High Plains Co-op.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber-A's Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber-A's Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber-A's Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
Breaking down the plays, the players, and the passion.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left to go before the top of the hour on this Thursday, March the 26th. Once again, a little bit windier today and cooler. Temperatures expected to be in the mid-70s, but we are in a red flag warning, which means gusty winds, and it's going to be out of the north. So it's going to be a cooler breeze. It's going to cool those temperatures down a little bit. So It may be highs around 75 to 80, but I think it may feel more like maybe in the mid-60s, something along those lines. I mean, it wouldn't be opening day of the high school baseball season, at least not have one of these games where the wind is blowing and impacting. I mean, how many games I've been a part of in the high school baseball season where, the wind's blowing so hard that hats are flying off kids' heads and pitches are moving more than maybe they should using the wind, or maybe they're going faster because the wind's behind them. It would not be a high school baseball game day without a really good wind, and we'll experience that here today as the high school baseball season does get going today for both Goodland and Colby. Colby did have a softball and baseball did have a jamboree kind of scrimmage against Ellis here on Thursday, but the regular season begins for the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles coming into this season opener, they were 15-5 last year. They graduated a good senior class, but they returned probably, I don't know if he'll be the best player in the league, but he'll definitely be one of the best. Braxton Withington is back. He'll be on the mound for them at some point in time in today's doubleheader. He'll be really good. Look forward to seeing what he looks like today for the Eagles. And Colby's always been just a really good team. They have the indoor hitting facility that they utilize a lot. So they usually come and they hit the ball very, very well. It feels like right out of the gate to begin the season. So, and they're always aggressive on the base path. So we'll see if that stands true today. And for Goodland, it's a lot of unknown. A new head coach and Coach Avelar, which we had on earlier this week. If you want to go back and listen to that interview, you can catch the podcast, the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer, where you get your podcast, listen to that interview with him. I think he's got a great mindset and a great mind for the game. The problem is, not that it's a problem, but it's going to be a limited depth thing for Goodland this year. They only have 11 guys on the roster, and you really would like to have a few more numbers if you could. I don't know what the pitching depth is going to be like. I do think they've got a pretty good, number one starter in Caleb Williams. I think he'll be pretty good. Caleb also swung the bat good last year for the Cowboys, but the Goodland needs more. If you're just basing upon what we've seen the previous few years, 2 years ago was a really tough year because the Cowboys had some pieces, but just could not find the win column. I think only won 3 games in that one season. And then the following year, got that number back to closer to 500, around 9 wins, maybe a little bit more last year. But this year, it's to me, Goodland baseball's always had pretty solid pitching. The question is, can you go and hit the ball when it matters most, when there's guys in scoring position? That's been the biggest thing I think that's held Goodland back many years, even going back to the times when they played, in the state tournaments. They would get guys on base. It was coming up with the timely hit to drive those runs in and give run support to your team. Colby, I think, on the other hand, has been pretty darn good at that from what I have seen in the limited times I've seen them. They're able to drive in those runners. They get them on base. They steal them to second. They find a way to drive in those runs, whereas Goodland has struggled to drive in runs at times over the last couple of years. They've had the pitching to keep the game close. The thing is being able to just drive in the runs when it matters most. And that's and it's game number 1 of the season. Everyone's kind of feeling it out. I kind of wish, for the sake of both teams, but particularly for Goodland, I kind of wish they'd play like a warm-up game or something like that against a warm-up series against somebody else before you took on Colby, who I always feel like is kind of got the upper hand with their off-season program working in the Blue Barn over in Colby and that kind of stuff. But hey, you got to come out there and got to see what you can do. And it's the first games of the season. You don't know what to expect. Hopefully you get guys that go out there on the mound that throw strikes. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to have a whole bunch of walks and hit batters and wild pitches. Hopefully just guys go out there and throw strikes and pitch to contact. Hopefully the defense doesn't have too many mistakes behind them. And then you're able to get some timely hits on the offensive end, I think is what you probably both coaches would say they want to see when it comes to playing in this opening game. I mean, if I was the coach, which in no way should I be the baseball coach, but if I just be, we got to keep it simple, boys. We got to throw strikes and we got to get some hits, in particular with guys in scoring position. We're be selective at the plate, but get up there and get some hits. So fascinating to see what the opening day series looks like for both Goodland and Colby today. We will have coverage of it here on your home for the Goodland Cowboys and Cowgirls, Rocket 1025 KLOE. Coverage starting about 2:40 Mountain Time with pregame Goodland Game Day presented by the insurance agency. We'll get going leading into first pitch at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, and we'll have a doubleheader there. And I will do my best to be as focused as I can be on the game and not be thinking about Nebraska basketball playing in the second game. I say that jokingly. But, so we'll have coverage of that. So if you want to tune in and listen to Goodland and Colby baseball today in the opening day series, you can catch it here on Rocket 1025. Let's see here. Let's go to FB Bank text line 785-899-2222. Texter chimes in talking about Jeremy Fears, the point guard for Michigan State. He says he is the Draymond Green for Michigan State. That would be true, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Draymond, of course, being a Michigan State guy. And Larry chiming in, saying, I know you're not a fan of the NBA, but I have to mention in last night's Nuggets win, 142-135 over the Mavs. Jamal Murray had 53 points, and the Joker recorded 23 points, 21 rebounds, and 19 assists. His 30th triple-double of the season. Is that right, Larry? Which I think tied Russell Westbrook for the most in back-to-back seasons. Something along that line was that stat. Yeah, ridiculous. The Nuggets are really good, particularly when they have their two best players, Murray and Joker, playing that well. That is for sure. Before we get to the walk-off, a couple of things to highlight. On the diamond, you've got, I mentioned Colby Community College softball with a split yesterday against Barton. They won game 1 7-2, lost game 2 8-0. Northwest Tech softball swept by Hutch 19-0, 16-0. Those two wins for Hutch tie Colby now at the top of the conference standings, both at 11-3. You've got Kansas baseball lost to Sac State yesterday, 7-4, despite leading early. Today, you've got Colby Community College baseball hosting Barton for a doubleheader at Young Memorial Field. The Trojans still in search of their first conference win of the season. And Bill Self, we talked about it, I think, on Tuesday, it was. Bill Self, they said, there was some rumors swirling that he could be retiring. He told the Kansas City Star that is quote-unquote bad info, end quote, saying no decision has been made at this time. But he remains undecided and will base any decision of his health not on court results. All right, to the walk-off.
High drive, deep left, grand slam! And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
A very exciting time for K-State football fans and their program as, the Colin Klein era kind of gets to officially get underway. They've had a lot of, off-season winter conditioning. Colin Klein met with the press yesterday to talk about spring football and spring practice ahead. And kind of the major things that were said, talk about major gains in the weight room. They had 27 players adding significant muscle. While the team also set multiple strength records, so they're getting it done in the weight room underneath the new staff. Now the focus turning to competition, he says, looking to build depth across the roster, including during spring drills. They talk about Avery Johnson, going to get a majority of the reps, obviously, at number one, but they want to create competition across the entire roster. And pretty much said the goal of spring is simple. We want to develop toughness, create competition, and get the Wildcats ready for fall. People that I follow on social media said it was very similar to hearing a lot of things that Coach Bill Snyder would say, which why not? That's Colin Klein's absolute mentor when it comes to that kind of stuff. But K-State football set to begin spring practice. Kind of funny. They're getting going here at the end of the week. Nebraska football and their spring is over on Saturday. They were the earliest team to start, and they'll be one of the first 3 teams to be done with spring practice. It'll be over on Saturday while K-State just getting going. All right, thanks again to Jasmine Esparza for joining the program. Hope you'll be back with us tomorrow. We'll recap some baseball. We'll recap the Sweet 16 as well. Have a few more picks and have some fun on a Friday. Hope you join us for then another edition of the Morning Blitz. Have a great Thursday.
Rocket 1025.